Hello and welcome to the English Forum. And in this video lecture, I will discuss about literary theory and criticism for the upcoming UGC NET examination June. And the first question, and this is the video number first, and this is the first question, and you should also write down your right answer in comment box. So the first question, Ferdinand de Saussure argued that the units is lang are contrastive and relational and homologous, unique and self-contained, and contrastive and independent. So the right answer is A, contrastive and relational. Because the meaning of sign do not have inherent, okay, when we compare and relate, after that the meaning became. So the next question, logocentrism is coined by Todorov, Derrida, Saussure and Ludwig Lax. So the right answer is D, Ludwig Lax. Third, myth criticism focuses on first, a study of myths and mythology, B, archetypes of a spiritual experience, C, recurrence of archetypal patterns, D, the confluence of different traditions. So the right answer is C, recurrence of archetypal patterns. Next question, who coined the term queer studies? First, Teresa de Lauretis. Second, Judith Butler. C, Bell Hooks. D, Gloria Anzaldúa. So the right answer is fourth का Teresa de Lauretis. This is the right answer. Okay. Next question. Who institutionalized cultural studies at the center of Birmingham University? It was in 1964. So the right answer is Richard Hogarth. Next question. Name the critical theory which attempts to critique the traditional practice of privileging a speech over writing. So the right answer is structuralism, deconstruction, neo-criticism, and Russian formalism. So the right answer is, here is the right answer, deconstruction. Next question, who said that the novel is a literary form of transcendental homelessness? George Lucas, Mikhail Bakhtin, Lucien Goldman, Salman Rushdie. So the right answer is George Lucas. A is the right answer. Which author said, I want to produce a feminine equivalent of the current masculine realism? So the right answer is Dorothy Richardson, Anne Nin, Simon de Beauvoir, Virginia Woolf. So the right answer is Dorothy Richardson. Richardson said, I want to produce a feminine equivalent of the current masculine realism in her essay, novel. Yeah, novel. Novel name is Pilgrimage. In Pilgrimage, he said this statement. So the right answer is Dorothy Richardson. Next question, which one of the following is not a principle of deep ecology? Engage in a specific environmental issues of pollution, conservation, etc., and the protection of human interest. B, maintaining ecological and cultural diversity. C, human being as ecological self and believe in biocentric egalitarianism. So the right answer is A. Who wrote The Practice of Everyday Life 1980? Michel Picac, Michel de Sartien, Michel Foucault. And what's the right answer? Michel de Virax. So right answer is B, Michel de Sartien. Next question. Given below are four statements, two of which are false. Choose the correct options. Freud and Jung are both essentialists in framing their theories of psychoanalysis. Both Freud and Jung were concerned with the collective unconscious. Third, Lacan was indebted to Jung in developing his psychoanalytic formulations. Fourth, Lacanian psychoanalytic theory is post-structuralist in its orientation. So the right answer is two or three. Both Freud and Jung were concerned with the collective unconscious, and Lacan was indebted to Jung in developing his psychoanalytic formulations. Next question. The Female Eunuch, 1970, is written by Judith Butler, Hannah Arendt, Simone de Beauvoir, and German Greer. So the right answer is German Greer. Who coined the term implied reader in the rhetoric of fiction? The rhetoric of fiction was published in 1961. Yes, 1961. 1961, and landmark text of the second wave feminism. It belongs to the second wave feminism. So what's the right answer? Percy LeBock, David Laws, F.R. Lewis, and Wayne C. Booth. So the right answer is uh, Wayne C. Booth. This is the right answer. Wayne C. Booth. The theory that an act of poetic creation implies a misreading of an earlier poet was developed by Paul de Man, Norman Holland, David Blake, and Harold Bloom. So this is the right answer, Harold Bloom. Harold Bloom is the right answer, and it refers to the theory of the anxiety of influence. Next question. Which of F.R. Leavis' teachings was essentially syllabus manageable within a year long undergraduate course? So the right answer is Great Traditions. It was published in 1948, and he included Jane Austen, George Eliot, and William James, and Joseph Conrad. These are the writers that was included in the Great Traditions. What term suggests a range of negative attributes such as non-Marxist and non-feminist and non-theoretical? Absurdism, dialogism, modernism, humanism. What's the answer? Suggest a range of negative attributes such as non-Marxist and non-feminist and non-theoretical. That means humanism. Right answer is humanism. Next question. I. Richards pioneered the technique called which was also the title of his book in 1929. It is a very easy question, practical criticism. Who presented I. Richard with the manuscript of the book which was published in 1930 with the title Seven Types of Ambiguity? It's also a very easy question. That was William Emerson. And 19. Who was the first critic to develop a reader-centered approach to literature? Plato, Aristotle, and Sophocles. So what's the right answer? The right answer is Aristotle, because his concept of catharsis focuses especially on the essential effect of a text on the audience. This is the main reason. So that's why he uh, created the reader-centered approach in literature. So right answer is Aristotle. In P.B. Shelley's which work, 1821, saw poetry as essentially engaged in what a group of 20th century Russian critics later called defamiliarizations? What's the right answer? Uh, it means Russian formalism or Russian critics defamiliarizes the main works, and in 1821 P.B. Shelley also do this. So what's the right answer? The right answer is A Defense of Poetry. In defense of poetry, and he defamiliarizes who was credited as being a key figure in the development of modern approaches to language study in the chapter titled Structuralism. This is very easy question. Ferdinand de Saussure. This is the right answer. 22 is defined as the meanings of words according to Saussure, hermeneutics, relational, episteme, and canon. What's the right answer? So right answer is relational. Relational is defined as the meanings of words according to Socio relational. When we relate with the things, then we get the real meaning of that things. What example did Saussure use to explain what he meant by saying that there are no intrinsic fixed meanings in language? Animal Farm Ulysses, 1984, and 825 Geneva to Paris. So the right answer is 825 Geneva to Paris. It's a train schedule. Saussure used the terms and to signify language as a system or a structure on the one hand and any given utterance in that language on the other. So paradigm and paradigmatic humanism icons. Right answer is Lang and Perrow. Very easy. 25. The notion of posited by Levi-Strauss, denoting the minimal unit of narrative sense, is found on the analogy of morpheum, which is in linguistic is. So you can also go through this morpheum, which is the unit of grammatical sense. Largest, moderate. So the we know very well morpheum is the smallest unit. So the right answer is metheme and a smallest. So the metheme posited by Levi-Strauss, denoting the minimal unit of narrative sense. Okay, right answer is metheme and smallest. What is the name of the early 19th century American writer who received considerable attention from both a structuralist and post-structuralist? Washington Irving, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, Victor Hugo. So the right answer is Edgar Allan Poe. Next question. Which of the following term based can be defined as one in which we can't know where we are, since all the concepts which previously defined the center and hence all the margins have been deconstructed or undermined? Decentered universe, absurdism, allegorical interpretation, and binary oppositions. So when we talk about one which we can't know where we are, since the concept which previously defined the center and hence also the margins have been deconstructed. Absurdism, no. Allegorical interpretation, no. Binary oppositions, no. So the right answer is decentered universe. This is the right answer. Okay. A structuralism derives ultimately from, a structuralism कहाँ से आया? Hermeneutics, mimesis, and linguistic and formalism. तो स्ट्रक्चर की बात हो रही है यहाँ पे, तो hermeneutic की तो बात हम लोग करेंगे नहीं, mimesis भी नहीं होगा, फिर formalism नहीं होगा. राइट आंसर होगा linguistic. 29. Which of the following based fits the definition of a discipline which has always been inherently confident about the possibility of establishing objective knowledge? Hermeneutics, formalism, mimesis, and linguistic. So also this is the right of answer is linguistic, because we are talking about discipline which has always been inherently confident about the possibility of establishing objective knowledge. Next question. Is defined as a discipline which has always tended to emphasize the difficulty of achieving secure knowledge about things. Sociology, criminology, philosophy, and psychology. So the right answer is philosophy. Why philosophy? Because he says that discipline which has always tended to emphasize the difficulty of achieving secure knowledge about things. अगर किसी के बारे में secure knowledge हम लोग गेदर करने में काफ़ी डिफ़िकल्टी आ रही है, तो दिस इज़ कॉल्ड philosophy. Post-structuralism emerged in France in late 1930s, 1920s, 1960s. So the right answer is 1920s. Sorry, 1960s. This is the right answer. 31 question. 32. The crucial essay, The Death of the Author. The Death of the Author, birth नो प्रॉब्लम, वेरी इजी. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. From which of Barbara Johnson's literary pieces can the following definition of deconstructive reading be found according to author Peter Barry? Deconstruction is not synonymous. क्या कह रहा है कि deconstruction जो हमारा है is not a synonymous with reconstruction. It is in fact much closer to the original meaning of the word analysis, which etymologically means to undo. सो द राइट आंसर क्या हो सकता है, कहाँ से ये लिया गया है ये जो वर्क है बारबरा जॉनसन का? तो द राइट आंसर इज द एज ऑफ इनोसेंस. नो, द क्रिटिकल डिफरेंस. दिस इज द राइट आंसर. इन द क्रिटिकल डिफरेंस we go through this constructions meaning. Next, what term was a popular term in deconstructive criticism and literal meaning means an impasse? Imagism? No. Parole? No. Lang? No. Aporia is the right answer. Aporia means point of undecidability or illogical contradiction where a text's meaning becomes blocked or stuck. Aporia. This is the meaning. नहीं समझ में आया तो फिर थोड़ा सा आप डिटेल देख लेंगे. ओके, क्योंकि टाइम नहीं है तो ऑब्जेक्टिव ही हम करवा रहे हैं. In what decade did postmodernism become current? 1890s, 1980s, sorry, 1990s and 1910 and 1950s. I think 1980s. Yeah, of course, 1980s. This is the right answer. What is the name given to the movement that dominates the arts and culture of the first half of the 20th century? वो कौन सा कल्चर मूवमेंट है भाई साहब जो आपको 20th सेंचुरी में? तो मॉडर्निज्म कह सकते हैं या ऑफ कोर्स मॉडर्निज्म कहेंगे, क्यों नहीं कहेंगे. हमारा मॉडर्निज्म ही है जो कि डोमिनेट किया था आर्ट एंड कल्चर में फर्स्ट हाफ ऑफ 20th सेंचुरी. Which of the following works of T.S. Eliot was a collage of juxtaposed incomplete stories or fragments of stories according to the chapter titled Postmodernism? पोस्टमॉडर्निज्म पे हम जाएंगे और देखेंगे कि कौन सा वर्क का फ्रैगमेंटेड स्टोरी है. तो दिस इज़ वेरी इजी क्वेश्चन बिकॉज वी रेड द वेस्टलैंड्स was written in fragmented story. Which modern architect proclaimed that decoration is a crime? आंसर तो दिख गया, डी हमारा आंसर हो गया. एडोल्फ लूज. And this is the 38th question. And the decoration of crime came from essay Ornament and Crime. Ornament and Crime, that was published in 1908. Okay, this is the right answer. 39. The modern period began with the mythology, notions, reason and enlightenment. What's the right answer? Right answer is enlightenment. बोल दीजिए भाई साहब, enlightenment. enlightenment के बाद ही हमारा मॉडर्निज्म का शुरुआत हो चुका था. 40. The term postmodernism was used in the 1930s, but its current sense and vogue can be said to have begun with. आंसर तो दिख गया. Jean Franco's Leotard, The Postmodern Condition, A Report on Knowledge, because this is a very famous work, The Postmodern Condition by Leotard. Who was the major theorist of postmodernism and French writer of the book Simulations? It is also लग गया. Jean Baudrillard. Sorry, अभी से हाइड करूँगा. Jean Baudrillard was associated with what is usually known as, according to the narrator, the loss of the real, the gain of the real, the knowledge of the real, the forfeit of the real. क्या करेंगे, कौन सा रियल है? 42 का. So the loss of क्या real, the loss of real, इसी को तो हाइपर रियल बोलेंगे. हाइपर रियल, हाइपर reality. This is called hyper-reality. The loss of the real loss हो चुका है भाई. Who wrote the following statement on the mythologized misrepresenting on the United States and Disneyland? All its values are exalted here in miniature and comic strip from form, embalmed and pacified. Bruckner, Butler, Burke, Browning. The right answer is Bruckner. This is the right answer. Which of the following terms best fit the following definition? A form of literary criticism which uses some of the techniques and psychoanalysis in the interpretation of literature. साइकोएनालिटिक की बात हो रहा है तो भैया आप समझ गए, अप्लाइड होगा नहीं, प्रैक्टिकल होगा नहीं और इम्प्रेशन होगा नहीं, तो हमारा बच्चा कौन? साइको. क्योंकि साइको की बात करेंगे तो साइको में ही आइए. दिस इज साइकोलॉजिकल क्वेश्चन, हम भी समझ सकते हैं. इन साइको एनालिटिक क्रिटिसिज्म मेनी ऑफ सेगमेंट फ्रूट्स आइडियाज कंसर्न एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ. भाई साहब सेगमेंट फ्रूट बेशर्म आदमी बात ही कर देते हैं किस पे? डेथ पे? नहीं, ऐसा कैसे बात करेंगे? वही तो एक आदमी है जो सेक्स पे बात की है भैया, बाकी सब तो बात किए नहीं. Psychoanalytic criticism states that is the notion that sexuality begins not at puberty with physical maturing but in infancy, especially through the infant's relationship with the mother. ये कहते हैं कि आप देखो साइकोएनालिटिक क्या कहता है कि ये जो प्यूबर्टी एज है, सेक्सुअलिटी जो बिगिन होता है प्यूबर्टी में नहीं, 12-13 साल में नहीं भैया, ये हमारी बचपन से ही हो जाती है. बचपन से ही सेक्सुअलिटी हमारे उत्पन्न हो जाती है. इन्फेंट जो रिलेशनशिप होता है मदर के साथ जब वो दूध पीता है, और ऐसा आप ओशो को भी सुनेंगे तो कहते हैं कि पुरुष चाहे जितना भी बूढ़ा हो जाए वो किसी भी औरत को देखेगा, और देखेगा तो क्या देखेगा? बॉडी का अपर पार्ट देखेगा, जो कि वच जिसको बोलते हैं हम लोग. जो मम्मी जब दूध पिलाती है बच्चे को तो उस टाइम पे ये सेक्सुअल इंटीमेसी फील करता है बच्चा. इन्फेंटाइल सेक्सुअलिटी, इसीलिए आंसर हो गया हमारा. और ये सब जगह बोलने की बातें नहीं हैं. सिगमंड फ्रॉइड कनेक्ट्स इन्फेंटाइल सेक्सुअलिटी टू द, देखो आ गया, इन्फेंटाइल सेक्सुअलिटी दिखाता है इन विच द मेल इन्फेंट कंसीव्स द डिजायर टू एलिमिनेट द फादर एंड बिकम द सेक्सुअल पार्टनर ऑफ द मदर. और ये आप देखेंगे क्योंकि लड़की जो होता है वो फादर के करीब होता है और बेटा जो होता है मम्मी के करीब होता है, तो दिस इज कॉल्ड ओइडिपस एंड इडिपस कॉम्प्लेक्स. सो यहाँ राइट आंसर ओइडिपस कॉम्प्लेक्स ही होगा क्योंकि मदर के करीब जा रहा है लड़का. तो ये चीज़ें नेचुरल है, ओपनली हम लोग बात नहीं करते हैं, लेकिन आप गौर से इसको देखेंगे तो समझ में आएगा कि बात तो बंदा सही बोला है. Psychoanalytic criticism that distrust of Freud has grown in recent years partly as a result of his mainly negative views on. अब भैया किस पे नेगेटिवली मीन करेंगे? विमेन के ऊपर ही तो बोल रहे थे क्योंकि मेन के ये सपोर्ट में थे, विमेन के अगेंस्ट में थे, ऐसा कुछ. इन्होंने सेक्स के बारे में बात किया है तो. Who did Sigmund Freud link the situation of Hamlet in the play to? अरे भैया हैमलेट का प्ले हमारा शेक्सपियर लिखे हैं, काहे बदमाशी बतिया रहे हो? ओडिपस दे दिया है, ज्यूस दे दिया है, गॉड दे दिया है, कुछ भी. लास्ट क्वेश्चन आज का होगा हमारा, द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट लैकेनियन टेक्स्ट फॉर लिटरेरी स्टूडेंट्स एंड विच वाज फर्स्ट डिलीवर्ड इन 1957 टू अ ले ऑडियंस ऑफ फिलॉसफी स्टूडेंट्स. कौन सा वर्क है भाई? का बोल दिया, समझ में नहीं आया, फिर एक बार देखते हैं. द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट लैकेनियन टेक्स्ट फॉर लिटरेरी स्टूडेंट्स एंड विच वाज फर्स्ट डिलीवर्ड इन 1957. 1957 में ये भाषण दिए थे भाई साहब. कहाँ दे दिए, क्यों दे दिए, कैसे दे दिए? तो ये आप देखेंगे 50 नंबर का क्वेश्चन. तो ये जो वर्क होगा हमारा द इंसिस्टेंस ऑफ द लेटर होगा. ये राइट आंसर हमारा क्या हो जाएगा? सी हो जाएगा भाई साहब. इसी में उन्होंने 1957 में भाषण दिया. तो राइट आंसर यही. आज 85 क्वेश्चन करते हैं, बाकी नेक्स्ट वीडियो में करेंगे. दैट्स ऑल. थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग दिस वीडियो. अच्छा लगे तो लाइक एंड शेयर सब्सक्राइब कर सकते हैं, बाकी आपकी मर्जी. जय हिंद. ओहो बाय.